The time right now is 2:10 a.m. and so after uploading all the videos, it begs the question, what's your philosophy, Zeeshan? Hey yo, Z, what's your philosophy? You walk up in the street, you come up on that street, and you ask me that. What do I say? My philosophy is fuck you, bitch. Leave me alone. I just smoked my fucking blunt. I wanna just fucking chill. Fucking leave me alone. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, my philosophy is to fuck people over in a dog eat dog capitalistic world where me, well, just beat up your opponent or your running mate at any cost and just make a name for yourself so that you can rise to the top, to the zenith of elite, the small apex pyramid, the capstone, the Illuminati capstone. I don't know. Let's not go there. No, I don't know. Well, yeah. Okay, to get serious, like Bruce Lee, he had his like if you read the Jeet Kune Do, Tao of Jeet Kune Do. I don't know if he has the book called Tao of Jeet Kune Do. He talks about formless form. Although if you talk about Zen, wayless way, or the gateless gate in Zen, or like it's like I have no form. Like my philosophy has no form. It's formless. So Bruce Lee would talk about be like water, so that, and it's literally, it's like it's very fluid, dynamic. It takes the shape of, yeah. I mean, you go to, you're meeting Idi Amin. You might, who knows, you might get away talking about Nietzsche, but you ain't gonna talk about slang and shit like with the South Central LA slang or something. It's like you're not gonna be like, yep, because you're gonna get that's disrespectful and you're gonna get your ass blown. Similarly, you go to South Central or East LA, and you say, "Oh, according to Rousseau, all men are born equal, but enslaved." Actually, you might. Who knows? There could be some intellectual thugs out there with glasses, with like fucking packing like Glocks and shit, and they could be like, "Yeah, I feel that, Holmes." No, okay, yeah. So just guess again, why so serious? To be serious, it's because yes, like the empty fist, or like you reach a level where the samurai was challenged on the boat, and he said, "Let's not make a spill any blood here." And well, the samurai, the guy who was challengee, the challenger, kept insisting, and it was rude and rough. And so finally said, "Okay, let's not spill the challenge." The guy who was being challengee was saying, let's just go to that islet and engage in a home gang. No, he didn't say this. It's Japanese, so they didn't talk like in flowery Victorian accent or something. No, so as soon as the guy dropped, the challenger dropped on the on the sandy shore, the guy pushed the boat and took off. So he did not. Not only he avoided that guy, and he also saved the people of the potentially saved the lives of the people. That's what no one talks about actually when you talk about the samurai story. And it's like he maintained balance and harmony without injuring his opponent or anyone else. And some said that was Musashi. Who knows? So the point being, as they say in Zen, when a Zen master walks in a forest, he makes no noise. It's like he doesn't even snap on a twig, and there's no noise. It almost means like that, but the point being, he doesn't disturb anything. And then, so that was the case of the swordless. The went, actually the way it started was the guy was saying, "Hey, according to legend, hey Holmes, um, show me what you got." And the guy was like, "I can my the sword that I'm taught in It's fighting without no sword. It's a no sword swordsmanship, no sword art of no sword, and that's how it started. So basically, violence, no art, the art of no violence, like non-violence. And that's like Gandhi is actually very Taoist. Martin Luther King, this is a very Taoist. Civil disobedience is very Taoist in nature. Like you don't oppose, you don't resist. Having said that, so yeah, it's like I don't like. I started Muslim, and like at one stage around, but I studied science when I was growing up. So and then there's always this discord how to unify the two. So I became at one stage I wasn't following my religion even though I studied Quran 3 times, like not memorized, like recitation 3 times I think because I was, yeah. And then I didn't practice, and all of a sudden I became devout at the age of 18. 5 times a day I pray, memorize all the surahs and everything. I even pray in excess, nafal, salah. And then I started getting disenchanted, like I started thinking about free will. It's like, suppose, mm, I don't know how to describe it. Suppose you gave me a compliment. It's like, people, all these idiots who does law of attraction, they manifest it. It's like and they're so disgusting and narcissistic. They like visualize themselves getting all the compliments and praise and everything. It's like to boost self-esteem. That is so stupid. So yeah, so that brings the question. So is it free will? If you force someone to give you compliment, is it free will? Does that person have free will, or you're dictating the will of the person through prayer or visualization, law of attraction, manifestation? So, but it was back in the day. I didn't have concept of law of manifestation, but I had believed in prayer. Like with prayer, you can solve anything. And used to think all those idiots, mullahs in long robes and all colors, must have all the answers. Like, oh, look at them spinning tasbih. They must have all the answer. They have a satori. Oh, who knows? Maybe they do. Maybe who is to say they don't have satori, or they're not capable of having satori? The one with the universe feeling, but it's just the role they're playing is in that garb, in that camouflage, in a mosque. So I got became disillusioned, and then at that time I was also reading Voltaire for some reason because I got into college and I got access to library. So I read Voltaire, yeah, there was enormous burst of knowledge, like it was growth spark because I just discovered philosophy in college. I even took intro to philosophy. So all these deists like Voltaire and like, or Leibniz, not Leibniz, but like Voltaire, like I read Candide, the abridged version, I think. I don't know, or could it be the whole version? Because it's very simple, written in a simple style, Candide. So and then Russell, and then these three played a role in the earlier. So Russell was kind of agnostic, so I kind of became agnostic, and then a deist. So I started believing that there is one power, one God, and I started reading about the browsing, basically the reading. I make it sound like I went to the library and checked out Rousseau, Federalist Papers, Locke, Montesquieu, Montaigne. Or, no, but yeah, it also helps to study the French I studied in college. Also helps because we're studying these people, Montesquieu, Montaigne, all these people, and it made me look up. Like there was the internet was not robust back then. It was like back in the days of Encarta encyclopedia, very limited AOL. But yeah, like it made me look up in the library, a smattering of knowledge, got a smattering of knowledge. And but I read Will Durant's A History of Philosophy, cover to cover, word by word, letter by letter. It's an illustrated children's book, I think. And I was checking out books on art, Sister Wendy, or those thin biography. I don't know, thin biography like of it's like very 100 pages or something, and they're all each page has a photo, and they're like thin. There's a collection of all the artists. So I started reading those. I mean, checking those out. So I became a deist, like Voltaire, and then I moved out of my family and something, and I was just yeah, I wasn't going to college, but I was going to the library, and then I was doing security security job, and that's when I started doing smoke my first pot. And that sort of, and then again I started philosophizing like calculus, Newton, like calculus. What is calculus? So I remember the first few times I smoked weed at work, security. I got so stoned, I immediately got it with all the calculus I was reading about Newton and Leibniz and Voltaire. But then and I got the mathematics of it, like, oh, yeah, everything is discrete, everything is continuous, and you break the discrete. It's like everything is, reality is like you can broken down into film strips of negative, where each reality block, 3D block of reality is a frame, and life is moving linearly. It's like a film projection, like a film strip, but each cell are like 3D blocks. So I got that visual. And then one day I started thinking, how what is God? What is God? And as I smoked more and more, I started feeling, yeah, God exists. See, even though cannabis is considered entheogen, like it shows the God within, it's funny how I believed in the existence of higher God, like higher power, but not within myself. That epiphany was still to come. And so that was like 20 years ago. Yeah, 2010, around 2010 or something, when I first had my salvia. So that's like 10 years after I accidentally had my salvia. That's when I knew for sure, felt for sure I was God. It's almost like the soul, the power, presence, vibration, and vibe within me. This force field, it's like a genie got snuffed out of the bottle. But still, I didn't have a breakthrough or anything, but still, I felt it. Like, I got it at like live proof, like direct proof. And that was it enough for me as I because so it's 10 years time I read Helen Watt. Well, obviously I got heavily into Helen Watt's Eastern philosophy, and he whet my appetite for Eastern philosophy. Taoism, I was doing it back in the days. And I was doing it back in the days, like around 2004, 5, yeah, or even earlier. Like I had a beautiful thin illustrated. I don't like Dao De Ching. I wish I had it. It was so beautiful. It's even different. The way it's translated. I don't know who translated it. Not Stephen Mitchell. I don't know. So that's about it. And then and 2000 before 2010. So yeah, from Voltaire. So I felt that at work, no, not at work, like when I was started at work smoking pot, and then I think I kind of had some weed could be laced with acid or something. I had this another epiphany enlightenment where I left work and went to this hill mountaintop meditating. So I sat there for 3 hours and 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 I meditated. I don't know, it could have been less than 3 hours, but it felt like 3 hours. And I was sitting in the cactus, not cactus, like plants in the mountain. And after I came down, I had this cosmic epiphany. So at that time, it felt sure like I felt I was light, I was delusional, and I could do anything. And then I snapped the cactus, and all the needles got into my palm. I had to go to emergency to cure it and get a tetanus shot. Okay, so I don't know. It could have been weed was laced with acid. So who knows? Probably that was another defining moment in my life, because then I started questioning what is reality. Is this reality and obviously it wasn't, because if light was made up of light, everything was made up of light, and my hand was made out of light, I could literally just like it'd be like wading through water, wading a hand through water, and like it should go through. So obviously it didn't, or probably the ego came back because the ego, and since the ego came back, I wanted to test it out. Since I grabbed it, that's why it didn't happen. So yeah, so that those were defining moments. It was almost psychedelic time, and after that incident, I became heavily interested in mathematics, and classical music. So almost like Timothy Leary talks about eighth circuit or the mall. It's like almost or like who knows, it was an awakening. I wasn't aware of Kundalini awakening or anything. So basically, the chi from went up in my brain, and my brain was activated and I was rewired. And although at that time I could hear foreign languages like Vietnamese, and I could understand it as if, but not know the language. It's almost I could, and it's not because of tricks like they talked about dropped one English word, so you could no. It's not like figure it out. It's almost like intuitive. So that happened, and So I became heavily interested in mathematics. I tried, on my own, I wanted to solve the sequence of prime numbers. I got to a point, and pretty readily I found it's impossible. I found out Euclid's proof of infinitude of prime numbers. I heavily became interested in mathematics, and I read Kastner's book, Imagination, Rudy Rucker, Group Theory Algebra, Abstract Algebra, calculus, all these textbooks I could easily get for $2, $1 from the library. They were selling them at, I think, what do you call that? El Toro Street, like El Toro. I don't know what that place is called. Like near Laguna Niguel. I was doing security, and after I was done security, I yeah, so I somehow got away with that shenanigan where I left the post at work and became this delusional who know with the smoke, who was high on list weed and came back. So I somehow got away with it, but I was still maintaining sober life, like normal life, and doing security. And after work, I used to go to the library and just read all these books. I'm mostly heavy on mathematics, so uh, what else? I started reading, found out about Russell, G.H. Hardy. No, not Russell. I was already familiar with it. So basically, it was like I started finding out about Riemann hypothesis, or how Riemann was the intuitionist, like going from one trapezy to another. Found out about Hermann Weyl, or like who's the other German guy? Who was a very strict German guy. I don't know. German mathematician who was a very strict, not Gauss. I'm talking about contemporary of Riemann. Like, whereas that guy was very strict and logical, Riemann could jump from one trapezy to another like an intuitionist. He was like that. So found out about zeta strips, critical, the critical strip, zeta analysis, zeta function analysis, skews number, Liouville theorem, all these things. I was ordering books on Dover, from Dover's books, which is they were very dense, like very tight, very impossible to pregnate. And obviously, Daniel Dennett's books on consciousness, books on brain. I was ordering them from Amazon, so Amazon was probably flourishing at that time. Um, and then somehow, so all this knowledge, so somehow I still, see, it was too early 2000, I still did not know I was the one, I was God. I was still chasing it. I felt like God is a power external. So anyways, mathematics, so pretty soon, so that was it. And at 2003 I kind of became crazy and hospitalized. So after came, we started recovering, and I thought I still was studying maths, and Wikipedia was flourishing back in the days, at that time. So I used to get energy drinks and electronic music and blast through Wikipedia articles. So you could learn a lot, basically the whole mathematics philosophy, like not the machinery, but if you have photographic memory, who knows, maybe you could get the machinery. You have the machinery, so almost. But it's like, so all these things like real analysis, non-standard analysis, hyperreal numbers, fucking Hodge conjecture, algebraic geometry, de Rham cohomology, Church cohomology, pages after pages, like all this, Borel Borel, measure theory, Sobolov's Lebesgue measure, fucking, and ordering books. And I was going to the library, and I was going to UCI library, and that was another, I guess, punctuated equilibrium, like flourishing at that time. So all these, and finally it coalesced, and I was heavily into Alan Watts. So all these coalesced to the point. So after my accident, the self experience, I found out that I was God, and I was like, all these are meaningless philosophy, because, but how I started questioning, like those came when I was like, I was still searching in OCC, Orange Coast College, when I decided to go back to school there around 2010 or something, or earlier, I think, 2007. Or probably early, yeah, 2007. So my recovery was relatively quick, basically 7 years. But still, I was unstable. I was heavily medicated. I'm still medicated. Um, so, uh, what happened was, um, yeah, I started reading, like, all the checking out all these books. So I found out about vagueness in philosophy, or like, there was this philosophy encyclopedia in my near my local library, like this like big old fucking like it was like imagine Encyclopedia Britannica but devoted only to philosophy. It was that. So found out about those Indian philosophy, Nia, on the Arabic philosophy, African philosophy. That's a good collection, right there. I don't know what's it called. It's a encyclopedia philosophy. I don't know the public Oxford probably one who knows. I checked out Oxford's handbook to philosophy or companion to philosophy, the Rutledge, and then I bought base mathematics and philosophy, and then the encyclopedia of mathematics, the Cambridge, I think. I don't know where. And this just giant. This like I don't know, like 2,000 pages or something. I don't know. And so the way I would blast through them was like I would pretend like this is my last shot to memorize them or like to see through them. So I didn't babysit it. So I would destroy it, and that's kind of like madness. No wonder I was crazy. So I would tear open the cover, and just one by one, just go through all the pages, and then in front of a dumpster and in the park, and just throw them, just tear them one page after another, and just blast through them almost like one page at a second. It's almost like my subconscious memory absorbed everything, like whether it be anything like and there's so much like I cannot just encapsulate in one sentence what I saw or like I guess I mean where do I even start? Yeah, like Graham number, Conway, modern mathematicians, Atya Singer, um, bot, Raoul bot periodicity, all these things. It's meaningless basically. Bot periodicity, like fucking Banach space, Banach Tarski paradox, set theory. I mean, fucking algebraic number theory, like everything. It's almost my mind became an encyclopedia. Although the access was difficult. It's like if you ask me, oh, oh, like what is twin prime conjecture stated? I can explain it, but not stated. Or like no, not even that. Like what is Littlewood Hardy theorem, or like some things like that. I probably saw it, and I cannot. I just can off the bat I can't remember, but probably it's there somewhere. And if I start, you know, whittling, probably I can make us get the big picture. Or like what is Littlewood Hardy theorem? Something to do with iron balls and iron. Who knows? Okay, so that's about it. Oh, so I think it's basically like s- I wasn't happy the way when I went back to college how philosophy and mathematics was conducted, and the whole this concept of peer review. I still had the naive feeling the answer is out there, like it's a monolithic thing. Like logic is supposed to be you figure things out if like you can intuitively figure it out, and then the Stack Exchange and those forums, all Math Overflow, Quora, I think, is relatively less loose and strict than Stack Exchange, but still, then those dicks and pricks who ran those places, that was again made my toxic even more. So I veered towards humanities more, art history, theater. Took a class on digital logic. Took intro to sailing. Took anthropology. At one point, thought of majoring in anthropology. At one point, of philosophy, but my main forte was philosophy. Like strength. Like, I took a class on symbolic logic. Didn't finish it. And took a class on epistemology. Didn't finish it. I think I finished symbolic logic, got a C or something, or probably didn't finish it. Who knows? Um, took class on comparative Eastern religions. Took classes on contemporary modern philosophy. And when I went to Cyprus College for one, enrolled in like Baconian science, like philosophy. I forget. I think it was epistemology. Who knows? So so yeah, there is this point. It wasn't the lacking wasn't the wealth of knowledge. Is like coherently connecting the dots. So yeah, I think the salvia one could have been defining one because that's when I really know it's all meaningless. Like the answer, it's not like as if the answer is there, but I could intuitively feel that the answer is meaningless. Like slowly you come to a point. Uncertainty theory, you read about uncertainty theory at from UCL library, vagueness theorem, Socrates paradox, Sextus Empiricus, all these people, Zeno, or like Taoism, or like Mahayana Buddhism, or like Mahavira, or like Nia philosophy in 1880, Nagarjuna tetralemma, all these things somehow you it you realize that my guess is good as yours. Basically, is bullshit philosophy. Is like my guess is good as yours. Who the fuck you are you to say this is true and not? So basically, reality, in my opinion, is like it's nothingness, and it's like consciousness, infinite possibilities, and from where the Taoists talk about infinite possibilities, and in like you create infinite pottery from the center, which is center is nothing, the hub. So basically, um, so yeah, it's like nothingness. Like nothing is. It's almost like everything is relative, but that statement is absolute. So it's like absolute is relative, relative is absolute, yin and yang. Yes is no, no is yes. So that's about it, I think. Yeah, and another when I was living, I was still smoking pot after the whole LSD, quote unquote LSD experiment, like which could have been the weed laced with acid or not, who knows? Or probably it was my eighth model circuit. The highest consciousness was opened by smoking too much pot. So yeah, right after that mountain incident, I started thinking of like, I thought I still could on ink on paper like, unify these concepts. So I started thinking about conception, existence, conception dash existence, a concept called conception existence, out of which everything comes, or reason dash faith continuum. I was still forcing to unify marry reason with logic, I mean reason with faith, but it was futile. It's like futile. So it was only, I think, and I had another personal growth spurt when the first time I went to Ayala Science Library or UCI Langston Library, Mathematics Library. It's like almost like whoa. Most people haven't been through like walked through the aisles of UCI mathematics department, like the library, and it's bombarded by the fact that there's so much knowledge. And maybe who knows, if I go to Library of Congress, there'll be another awakening, because it's not like it's almost like a building is probably like who knows can be devoted to entirely on mathematics. So how do you even know which one is real, which where the answer lies? It's like all these are philosophizing, basic quote unquote philosophizing all this mathematics by all these people in the world. So who knows? My guess is good as yours. There's no truth out there. Peace. Checking out.